Hello everyone, welcome to Porter Farms. My name is Kathy Allen and I am the farm manager and managing partner here at the farm. Just wanted to say hello to all of my fellow Leadership Genesee class members and take you on a little tour of our farm today. So this is one of the parts that make our farm move and operate. We have lambs and sheep that we breed. We use them mostly for our organic fertilizer, which you will see as we kind of go down the road here within the next little bit. But right now I'm in our lamb barn, and these are lambs that were just born this year. Usually we start our lambing process somewhere around the end of March, beginning of April. Right now what you see is these lambs are sorted according to gender. So these are the males. Females are actually over in that pen right now, and you're looking at roughly, in round terms, 200 total lambs in here right now. These are somewhere between 3 and 5 months old, and they're averaging around 40 to 45 pounds a piece right now. So these are some of the cattle that we have on rotation here at the farm. As I say rotation, it's because it's imperative for us that we keep a certain amount of animals here on a yearly basis, that we can rotate in young cattle, feed them, sell them off, and then bring in young ones again. Right here we have about 40 head of Black Angus. Again, this is imperative for our organic rotation because of their manure, their byproducts. And some people say, well, you can get manure anywhere from any farm around. However, with us, because we really have to be careful of weeds in our fields, we have to know what our animals are being fed, because whatever they're being fed is what their byproduct is. So knowing what goes in, we know what comes out. And when we use that manure in our rotation, it's better for our soil and for the turnaround of our vegetable crops. So here we are near one of our fields that we have on rotation for vegetables. Our vegetables with the organic rotation, we are on like a 3 to 4 year rotation. So each field will only see vegetables once every 3 to 4 years. This field right now was cover planted with clover 2 years ago. After the vegetables were harvested. It was planted with clover, and then what you see here is portable solar electric fencing. So we can put up this portable fencing around any of our fields and easily move our ewes, EWE, or what we call our mom sheeps. We can easily move our ewes from field to field using this portable solar electric fencing, and then they graze on this field. We like to joke and say they're carrying their own manure. And the biological fertilizer that they provide us. And then after the clover is pretty much grazed down, probably around the end of September of this year, we will take this fencing down, we'll move it to a different field, and then this field will be turned and plowed and get ready for vegetables for next year.
Hi everyone, my name is Katie Metzler. I was originally a porter. I grew up on the farm, started helping with the CSA in 1996 when we first started. I went to Cornell and then decided to be a science teacher, and so I was running our CSA and teaching science at Batavia High for 12 years. And then in the, winter of 2021, I came back to work at the farm full-time. And so now I'm managing partner and running our CSA and taking care of all of our organic inspections and documents and growing all of our vegetables from greenhouse to field.
So this field this year on rotation is, you're gonna see some eggplant, you're gonna see peppers, and you're gonna see tomatoes down here. One thing that might be new for some of you to see is what we call plastic mulch. It's this plastic that's laid in the field, and then our plants are put in the plastic and grow up through. Two main things that the plastic mulch does for us here on the farm. First of all, it retains moisture so that you don't get a lot of evaporation when it does rain or when we irrigate. And the second thing is weed control. It really helps to prevent weeds from growing up and choking off the plants and the roots of the plants. So these are eggplant, and you're going to notice with the eggplant that it is a black colored plastic mulch, what I'm standing on right here. Most of our vegetables are planted on a black plastic mulch, but you will see in a couple of minutes a different color, and I'll explain then. But most of our onions, eggplant, zucchini, yellow squash, cucumbers, most of those things are planted with a black plastic mulch. So these are some of our pepper plants. We're meeting up here with Katie again. Katie, hi. What are you picking?
Kathy, right now I'm picking a variety of peppers called lunchbox peppers for my kids' back to school snacks tomorrow.
What is unique about lunchbox peppers?
So these peppers, they're all small, they're snack size. So
Okay.
the perfect thing to add in their
Sweet?
lunch pails. They are all sweet.
All
not
sweet.
hot. That would be cruel to do.
Variation of colors?
We've got red, orange, and yellow.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
So also, I had just talked a little bit about the black plastic mulch over in the eggplant. Can you tell us a little bit about why the peppers are on a white plastic mulch?
Yeah, so it's recommended through our buyer. It's a Mennonite farmer down in Penn. Plastics go on white with black underneath, and so what it does, the sunlight is reflected off of the white, and it makes it a little bit cooler for the roots of the pepper plant, and they do better than just black plastic.
Nice. Very nice. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Would you like a snack?
Yes, ma'am. So welcome to part of our tomato field. This year we planted just shy of 24,000 tomato plants. We do grow probably around 6 to 7 varieties of tomatoes. These are just two that I'll show you right now. Excuse me, to my right, this is a regular slicing tomato. Of course, they pull very nicely off the vine, real nice round in shape. These are things that you might use for your, BLTs, or some people just like a tomato and mayo sandwich. It's a regular slicer, so they've got some hardiness to them, so they're not, completely crumbling when you do slice through them. The plants don't look great right now, partially because of the dryness, but this is actually when you know that they're nice and ripe, because the one, like this one that I just picked, it fell right off the vine for me. It's hard to see in this field, but our tomatoes are planted on red plastic. Again, it helps better with sun absorption, but not too much sun and heat. And again, controlling weeds and keeping the moisture content high. To my left, these are cherry berry tomatoes. So they are grown on a vine, or I'm sorry, they are vined, and we stake these. So, they almost look like a strawberry, but they're in the shape of a strawberry, I'm sorry, but they're a tomato. So they're called cherry berry tomatoes. These are very popular here on the farm. And actually, I'm running into Katie again here. Katie, can you help me explain, we have two different kinds of tomatoes, right? Determinate and indeterminate?
You got it.
And how does that fit in?
So all the ones from these stakes this way are determinate tomatoes. They need less support when they're growing. So basically when they're growing, they're gonna get to the very top of the plant and it's gonna end in fruit. Whereas the indeterminate tomatoes are more vine-like. They need more support, so that's why we stake them. And the top of their plant ends in leaf clusters so they can continue to grow. And that's why staked, not staked.
Nice. Who knew?
Science teachers.
I want to introduce you to one of our very important people here on the farm. This is Pete Metzler. Pete is not only our head mechanic, but we kind of title him as the farmer. He is great at doing pretty much anything we need to do, whether it's planting, harvesting, prepping, planning, planting, the whole 9 yards. So what I'm going to ask Pete to do is just kind of explain to us or to you the importance of properly working equipment, maybe some specialty equipment that we have here on the farm that helps to make our jobs easier.
Okay. We do lots of different things here at Porter Farms in terms of crop cultivation. We work with lots of smaller equipment as opposed to some of our neighbors that work in like a larger scale operations. So our equipment tends to be a lot smaller, which makes it easier to work on. It allows us to kind of customize some of the equipment to do some of the crops that we cultivate. This is about our biggest tractor right here, next to the other older one out there, but this is mainly used for plowing and fitting ground and mowing hay and baling hay and hauling manure. It's kind of our workhorse tractor. It does everything we need it to do. And then we have tractors more like that one over there with the high, skinny, narrow tires. That's our planting tractor. It allows us to go a lot slower in the field. It's got what we call a creeper gear. We had the frame built on the front of the tractor with the water tank so we can apply water as we're transplanting. And this is actually the first year we've ever used it for anything other than planting. It's like a really nice tractor, so we should probably use it more. But as far as other equipment is concerned, obviously maintenance is the key. If stuff's not working, then we're not going to get anything done. So we're constantly checking, greasing, servicing, just making sure stuff's working. So it makes my job easier through the summer season, because there's a lot of moving pieces and parts as we get into different crops and we're getting into different seasons. Now we're making hay and we're getting ready to plant cover crops. So we're fitting ground, we're cutting hay, we're raking hay, we're baling hay all at the same time. We're picking stones, so there's just a lot of things going on and moving into the fall. It never really slows down. The winter time slows down a little bit, but this time of year, we're doing everything. We're still picking. We're not planting anymore, but yeah, picking, baling, fitting ground, getting ready to plant cover crops to keep the ground covered through the winter. Cover crops are really important in organic agriculture for a couple different reasons. We're limited on what we can apply as far as fertilizers are concerned and other amendments, so we need to keep our ground productive and weed-free and covered pretty much all year round if we can possibly do that. And cover crops are a way that we accomplish a lot of those goals. So this field here last year was vegetables. So we left it fallow for this season. We mowed it down. Well, actually, in the early spring, we had our sheep graze it, and they ate up a lot of the leftover vegetables from last season, and they ate down some of the clover and other grasses and everything that were in there. And at the same time, they're they're spreading their own manure, so we're getting fertilization that way. So then we mowed it down, we chisel plowed it under, and then we've been, over the last couple weeks, fitting it down with the discs and the cultivators to get it ready to plant a small grain. We're going to plant barley and then interseed it with alfalfa this fall. So the barley will come up, create a nice ground cover over the winter. It dies back, it chokes out whatever weeds are there. Then in the spring it greens up again, it grows into July, and then it's combined in July. We put the grain into our grain bin down the road for cattle feed and for cover crop seed. And then the straw is baled up, which is the stalk of the barley. That's baled up, and we use that for animal bedding in our barns. And then after that all comes off, the alfalfa seed that was planted with the barley comes up, and then we'll have a nice hay crop here for the next 4-ish years or so.
Our CSA has been running for 28 years. We started in 1996 with about 100 members. The way our CSA works is we have members from Buffalo, members from Rochester, and then local members. During the week, we harvest for a Thursday distribution and a Saturday distribution. So on Thursdays, we load up our delivery van and we take about 60 bags to 6 different distribution points in Rochester. And then our members in Rochester will go to those homes to pick up their shares for the week. We have about 100 local members. Half of them come to the farm on Thursday nights from 4 to 6. Half of them come to the farm on Saturday mornings between 8:30 and 11 to pick up their shares. If they can't come during that time, we have a large walk-in cooler where they have access at any point, any day to their shares. And then our Buffalo group is the most, I guess, complicated in terms of our Buffalo members join a distribution group and then take turns driving to the farm to pick up for everybody in their group. So a new addition on our farm is our farm store, which opened in the 2021 season. We have a little retail store and then a commercial kitchen on site that is certified by Ag and Markets. Inside of our retail store, our members can find local goods like honey, syrup, we've got pancake mixes, sauces. We make our own pickled onions, pickles, pickled beets, dilly beans. Kathy has started making some candles this year. We have some Porter Farm swag available for our members. We'll fill it up with flowers and other goods, and members, like on Saturdays and Thursdays, are welcome to come in to make their purchases. We also have our all-natural ground beef that comes right from our own cattle, our Angus cattle, and we sell them in frozen 1-pound packages.
I've broadened my food horizons. I'll never be a turnip guy, but now I actually eat and like kale, Swiss chard, even beets. And of course there's an abundance of peppers, squash, green beans, lettuce, zucchini, tomatoes. The farm's newsletter offers recipes every week, savory, delicious recipes. So if you find broccoli rabi in your bag, you're not on your own, you know, there's help out there. You're buying directly from the people who plant and grow and cultivate and harvest the food. You're supporting local farmers, in this case a wonderful family, the Porters, and the folks who work with them. You're supporting healthy and restorative agricultural practices. You're keeping dollars within the community, within the area, rather than shipping them off to corporate headquarters in Manhattan or Seattle or wherever. You're getting fresh vegetables and fruits at a good price. You're improving your diet and your health. You're brightening the corner where you are. You're making our little piece of the world a better place.
For more information about our CSA program, ask questions, or request your own tour, feel free to contact Porter Farms today.